Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sneha and today I'll be discussing on the topic of magnesium sulfate in obstetrics. Here we have a case scenario where a 23-year-old primary gravida at 38 weeks of gestation has come with complaints of headache and blurring of vision for the past 4 hours. On examination, the pulse rate is 90, blood pressure is 150/100 and bilateral pedal edema is present. Urine albumin is 2 plus. When you're examining her, she suddenly throws a generalized tonic-clonic type of seizure. So what is the drug of choice to manage this condition? Your options are phenytoin, phenobarbital, diazepam, and magnesium sulfate. So from this case, you can see that she has come with complaints of imminent signs and symptoms such as headache and blurring of vision, an increased blood pressure of 150/100, and proteinuria of 2 plus. So she has severe preeclampsia. And on top of that, she has now thrown a seizure. So you can conclude that she has eclampsia. In eclampsia, the drug of choice to control seizure is always magnesium sulfate, and we do not use the typical anticonvulsants such as phenytoin, phenobarbital, and diazepam. Now, even if you get a case scenario where an obstetric patient presents with an unknown cause of seizure, your first diagnosis should always be eclampsia, and your management will be with magnesium sulfate unless you rule out other causes. Now let's look at this drug in a little detail. We have different formulations of magnesium sulfate in medicine. It comes in vials, ampules, pastes, and powder. But in obstetrics, it comes in ampules and it looks like clear water. So as we can see from the label of magnesium sulfate, each ampule contains 1 gram of magnesium sulfate which is dissolved in 2 ml of water. That means the concentration is 50%. This can be given as IM or IV route. When we come to uses in obstetrics, there are 3 major uses. The first is to treat eclamptic seizures and also in patients with severe preeclampsia to prevent the occurrence of eclampsia as a prophylactic use. The second is as fetal neuroprotection. If you plan to deliver a patient at less than 32 weeks for some maternal or fetal condition, you can opt to give magnesium sulfate before the delivery for fetal neuroprotection. The third is as a tocolytic. Magnesium sulfate is a very weak tocolytic and it is rarely used for this cause in modern obstetrics, as there are better and more efficient tocolytics available now. The seizure that occurs in eclampsia is of different pathogenesis compared to seizures that occur in other causes. Now, this is a cross section of a cerebral blood vessels. In hypertensive disorders of pregnancy, due to various causes, the blood vessels become shrink due to vasoconstriction. The main element responsible for this is calcium ion. As we all know, calcium is an important element for contraction of the muscle. Calcium ion causes actin-myosin complex, which causes smooth muscle contractions of the smooth muscles that are present on the vessels, and this totally causes cerebral vessel vasoconstriction and ischemia and cerebral edema, which causes the seizure. So, what does the magnesium sulfate do? Magnesium sulfate majorly helps to antagonize this calcium ion. Now this is a picture of two neurons. The one in the top is a presynaptic neuron and in the bottom is a postsynaptic neuron, and in the center we have the synaptic space with ions such as calcium. There are vesicles with green dots. These are the glutamate particles. They are neurotransmitters. Now, under normal circumstances, glutamate is released from the presynaptic neuron into the synaptic space, and this attaches to the NMDA receptor, which is represented by the red structure here. Once it attaches, the channel opens and the calcium in the synaptic space enters into the neuron and it goes about doing its action as shown in the previous slide. Now, where does magnesium sulfate act here? The first action is it blocks the release of glutamate. Second, it blocks the entry of calcium ion. Third, it blocks the NMDA receptors. And fourth, it increases the calcium uptake by the mitochondria in the neuron, so the free calcium pool is decreased for it to cause muscle contraction. So in toto, the crux of this slide is that it decreases calcium ions, which in turn causes vasodilation, reduce cerebral edema, and reduce seizure activity. So, how do we give magnesium sulfate? There are two major regimens. First is Pritchard and Zuspan. Both are given as first loading dose to rapidly increase the level of magnesium sulfate in the body to reach therapeutic levels, and as maintenance dose. Pritchard is an age-old regimen which is an intramuscular regimen. In the loading dose, you give 4 grams of 20% IV, slow IV, followed by 5 grams of 50% intramuscular in each buttocks, and 30 minutes later you give a maintenance of 5 gram intramuscularly, 4th hourly in alternate buttocks. This causes pain while injection because it's a deep intramuscular injection. It is very painful to the patient. Zuspan is an intravenous regimen and it is more comfortable for the patient. Loading dose of 4 gram in 100 ml of NSIV is given over 20 to 30 minutes, and 30 minutes later infusion syringe is set up at a rate of 1 gram per hour. This dose is continued for 24 hours from the period of eclampsia or delivery, whichever happens later. If you're giving magnesium sulfate for neuroprotection, you can follow the same regimen as Zuspan, and both loading and maintenance dose has to be given. These are other regimens that are available for magnesium sulfate. Please note that certain regimens such as Sokoto and WIMS do not have maintenance doses. So when you're giving magnesium sulfate to a patient, there are certain parameters that needs to be monitored. The first is patellar reflex, second is respiratory rate, which should be above 14 per minute, third is urinary output, which should be more than 100 ml in 4 hours. These parameters are important to see if the patient has any toxicity symptoms of magnesium. In a normal person, the normal level of magnesium sulfate in the body is around 1.3 to 2.1 milliequivalents per liter. In a patient who is receiving magnesium sulfate for therapeutic purposes, it should be in a range of 4 to 7 milliequivalents per liter. Please note the unit here, it is milliequivalents per liter. This is equivalent to 4.8 to 8.4 milligram per deciliter. This can be converted into milligram per deciliter by multiplying into 1.2. Now this range is important to be remembered because once the range crosses this level, the patient starts to show symptoms of toxicity. When it crosses more than 10 milliequivalents per liter, the patellar reflex is lost. When it is more than 12, there is respiratory paralysis, and when it goes beyond this, there is bradycardia and cardiac arrest. Now the urinary output is important because magnesium sulfate is excreted through the kidneys. So if the patient has renal impairment, magnesium sulfate cannot be cleared through the kidneys and it gets accumulated in the body and causes toxicity. So before you start magnesium sulfate, you have to check the renal function by at least doing a simple serum creatinine. So what if the patient has signs and symptoms of toxicity? We already saw that magnesium is used to antagonize calcium. The same principle is used. Calcium is now used to antagonize magnesium. So the antidote is calcium gluconate 1 gram slow IV, and to stop the further doses of magnesium sulfate. Contraindication for magnesium sulfate, one is myasthenia gravis, because in this condition the neuromuscular junction is at fault, and the second is in impaired renal function because the magnesium sulfate does not get cleared from the body. The common side effects are flushing, pain and sweating. This occurs due to the vasodilatory effect of the magnesium sulfate. The discomfort can be reduced by using a diluted form of magnesium sulfate. In the fetus, if the magnesium sulfate is given for more than 5 to 7 days in a mother, it can cause hypocalcemia and bone abnormalities in the fetus. Now, before we conclude the topic, this is a common question that is usually asked in obstetric viva and practicals. How do you prepare a 20% solution of magnesium sulfate, because the vial that is available comes as 50%. So as we all know, 1 ampule is equivalent to 1 gram of magnesium sulfate in 2 ml. So we know that the loading dose is 4 grams. So let's take 4 vials which is equivalent to 4 grams of magnesium sulfate in 8 ml of solution. Now you have loaded this in a syringe. So it is loaded up to 8 ml, which contains 4 grams of magnesium sulfate. So if there are 4 grams in 8 ml of solution, it is equivalent to 50%. So in how much of solution should this 4 gram be dissolved to create a 20% solution? So if you do the max, it will come to 20 ml. As you can see, your syringe is already filled up to 8 ml and you need to fill it up to 20 ml according to the calculation. So you fill it up to 20 ml by taking an extra 12 ml of NS solution, and now this is how you make a 20% solution of magnesium sulfate. If you do not understand any of these, you can simply use this formula. If X is the amount of magnesium sulfate in grams, you need to multiply this 5 times for the total amount of solution that should be present in your syringe. For example, if you're taking 4 grams, 4 into 5, you need 20 ml totally in your syringe to make a 20% solution. If it is 8 grams, 5 into 8, 40, and so. Thank you. These are my references.